Welcome to the Reclaim Leader podcast. I'm Jason Tucker.
And I'm Jesse Skiffington.
We're two pastors in the trenches who are passionate about church health for greater gospel impact.
We share the ups and downs of ministry, strategies that worked for us,
and some that didn't.
Best practices and practical tools for church leadership.
The goal, to help all of our churches flourish. Let's get started. See another sunrise, sing a little song. Welcome back to the Reclaim Leader. Jesse, it is a beautiful day here. It's like we're finally getting fall weather out on the East Coast. It's been unseasonably hot, so I don't know. It feels like fall today. How is it where you are? I know we get on here and we just talk about the weather, but truly,
I know we're like,
what's it like there?
Really? Yeah, no,
I see
good.
sunshine where you are,
It's fall right now for sure. We had a nice foggy drive to school this morning, but it is good that we have kind of like, anywhere, but that you can feel the change in the air, and you go from like warm summer weather, warm for us anyway, to like that crisp, cool, and a little, I don't know, it just has that feel of fall, and I love fall. So I'm glad to be in it. It's football season. It's playoff season for the Seattle Mariners. So, just hopefully when this episode comes out, the Mariners will still be doing well in the playoffs.
Mariners are good, man.
Yeah, they
it's
could
a good year for them.
Yeah, that's when they tend to let us down, is when it looks like it's going to go up, then they just break our hearts. So
as a Las Vegas Raiders fan, I can understand that feeling. Yeah. My brother sent me a meme. He said, when I die, I want them to bury me at underneath Las Vegas field so they could let me down one more time.
That's right.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Spot on, man.
Yeah, that's about right. Anyway, enough about football woes. But welcome everyone who's listening with us. I know we've had a lot of new listeners over the last several months, and welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope that you're finding this helpful as you're leading your revitalization efforts. I think what seems to me very clear, I don't know what it is. There's an electricity right now in our area about people who are really excited about finding out who Jesus is and what that means for their life. I know that I'm very careful to say the R word, but it does seem like there is a lot of energy around finding God, and it's everywhere. So
yeah.
I don't know what that means, other than I just want to make sure we as a church are ready and that we are following the Spirit's lead to sort of figure out how to best meet people where they are. And because it's easy to just sort of go on cruise control, like, oh, it's fall, it's September, we always do this, and then this, and then this, and then, okay, so let's plan those things.
Yep.
Which isn't bad, but just means like, I just want to make sure I'm listening to what God wants right now that may have nothing to do with my agenda.
Yeah, I think it's a unique opportunity. And we've been noticing this something for a while now, just a spiritual openness that maybe hasn't existed, recently in recent memory or whatever. And so how are we doing at being prepared to meet that moment in people's lives? And I think that's kind of what you're getting at, is just like whatever's going on in this moment where everybody's searching for a foundation to build their life from, and everything seems up in the air and uncertain and all of that. How do we help bring Jesus into that mix? And who is Jesus? What does Jesus mean for my life? Help people wrestle with that. Yeah. So that might be some changes in our thinking, our programming, or the activities that we do that in some ways might be a better expression of how we can partner with God in that anyway. So
yeah. And so here's what I want to do. I want to talk to the pastor or the church leader who is nervous about making a change or who has doubt when it comes to like renewal or revitalization efforts. Like, let's say you sort of identified a few areas that you want to work on. And then what happens usually is kind of a sense of overwhelm. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know which target to pick. And then how much is it going to cost? And then what's it going to cost me relationally? And how are we going to do the things? And so what happens is a lot of the times pastors just sort of sit it out for a while they're mustering the courage to move forward, or the pain of not doing anything gets worse than the pain of trying the new thing. Right. But I just feel a sense of urgency right now.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage pastors who've been waiting to just do it. I don't care if you feel like you don't have any money or any resources. I feel like there is something to just getting things moving, and God shows up in the moving. And I was thinking about this today. It's kind of goofy, but I was thinking about how it's like learning golf. So this summer was my summer. I'm learning golf.
Right.
And the reason is I got a lot of church members that like to play. I get invited every once in a while. And I'm like, I want to learn enough to be able to go out and actually play and not be, just swing it into the woods every 5 seconds. And I never really understood the appeal of golf, to be perfectly honest, like watching it on TV. I mean, I don't know. I always thought it was sort of a boring sport. I knew it was expensive and it took a lot of time. So there's kind of like 3 strikes against it.
Three
But
strikes, yeah.
I decided to get out there anyway. And I went to the driving range for weeks. I had a lesson, one lesson on using your irons. And I had one lesson on using your driver. And the guy proceeded to tell stories about himself. And, you get what you pay for. I didn't get much of a lesson.
That's awesome.
Then the driving range again. Then there's a little pitch and putt where it's like, 75-yard holes. But here's what it was. I was nervous to go out and actually golf. I had a barrier. Yeah. I was nervous that I was going to get out there and I wouldn't know what to do. I'd breach some sort of important etiquette. People get mad at me. I'd slow things up. I don't know. I don't know what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
But I was really intimidated. I think I didn't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so I went, I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. I played the first course by myself, county course. And out of 18 drives, I hit one beauty. I hit one that hit the roof of a condo.
Good.
I absolutely nuked it. It was like supposed to be like 175 yards. And I just didn't know any better. And I grabbed my driver and I hit it so hard. It was a great shot, but it literally hit the roof of a condo. I was so embarrassed. I'm glad it didn't go through a window. And of course, I had many slices and other things. But then I noticed after a while, it was okay if I didn't hit a perfect drive. In fact, in some cases, it didn't even matter. It just moved the ball closer to the hole, and I was able to make a second shot.
Yeah.
And here's what I was thinking about church renewal. This is what it's like. The real game is won in the little short shots, I think. The scoring irons, the scoring shots, that's where it is won. Like, I think people are afraid I'm going to get up there and not going to drive the ball far enough. And that's not even the real issue, I've discovered. So maybe you feel like you don't have a big idea or world-changing vision statement. There's some sort of big drive off the tee. Or you're worried that you don't know what you don't know and you're afraid to put yourself out there as a leader. I was thinking about just some tips. Church renewal / golfing tips for how to get out there and go. But have you ever felt that way where you felt sort of stuck from starting because you were just intimidated by it?
Yeah, I think most things that are new territory or are going to put us in a position maybe of being embarrassed or failing are like that. We're like, I'm afraid to step out to the first tee because I don't want to look like an idiot, or I don't want to fail at one more thing or whatever. But then as you kind of figure that point of the game out where you're like, it's about advancing the ball toward the hole, whether it was pretty and perfect or whether it just raced along the ground the whole way or whatever. And there's something about beginning to enjoy that. And I always, whenever I golf with folks, I'm always reminded that it's something like 80% of golfers will never score less than 90 in a round of golf, 18 holes. So most people are pretty bad at golf or just mediocre at golf. And so we can compare ourselves to these people that are shooting below par that we see on TV, and none of us are going to be that. I mean, it's kind of like the huge mega church with all the budget and all the stuff. And it's like, most of us will never be that. And yet we can make progress towards being a healthy church out on the course, making life happen. I don't know. The analogy went sideways in there.
No, totally. No, it works. And I had definitely had some situations where, if you've been listening along with the podcast, you know all about the changes we've done here at Tower Hill. But there were changes that I was avoiding because I knew it was going to cause some collateral. I knew that it was going to cause, I had to sort of spend up some relational capital in order to do it. And so we were putting it off and we were trying to go sideways around the decision. because we didn't want to make the decision we all knew we had to make.
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying decisions that were just easier to tolerate, and they didn't work. And so I don't know that that's a bad thing. I kind of like that we tried some other things, but we sort of knew like, okay, it's time to get out there and play.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how this is going to go,
Yeah.
but we got to move the ball forward, or what's at stake is we're not going to be able to reach people the way God's calling us to reach them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing I just can't live with. I could live with a lot of things. I can't live with that kind of regret. Like, we didn't try.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And if all you ever do is hang out on the practice green or the driving range, I mean, that's cool. You learn to play the game maybe, and it's important. But the point of all of that is to get out on the course and hit some shots and figure it out as you go. So I think it's a good analogy. And, what are some of the things that we come up against though, as we're going out there? Because there are those obstacles that kind of get in the way and we go, I don't know, and cause us maybe to take a step back again.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's what I'll say first. And that is, just remember, when you go out to golf, and the same thing in revitalization, you're not just playing one hole.
Yeah.
You're playing the long game. You're playing 18.
Mm-hmm.
And why is that important? Well, because, for example, when I went out my first time, the first hole, this one golf course, there's no warm up area. There's no driving range or anything. So you just get up there cold and hit the ball right off the tee. And man, it was not pretty. And so I think the first hole I was like +4 or something. Like, it was just a horrible hole. But as I kept going, I kept doing better and better.
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage folks, because maybe you've tried revitalization things or renewal things. You tried to change that worship service, or you tried to change the children's ministry. You tried to change or create a guest services team or whatever it did, and you feel like it didn't work, or it failed, or you didn't get the desired result.
Right.
Keep going. The success and failure isn't just in the one try. Just play the long game.
Yeah.
You are going to fail some holes. It's not going to go well. But it also gives you the experience you need to do better the next time. So your efforts aren't just for one initiative or one thing that you have to execute perfectly. Just remember, it's a long game.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's helpful. And actually, you're going to be learning as you go too. So, you're warming up a little bit. That first hole, like, give yourself a little bit of grace. There's a reason. When I play golf, we have a ball that we call the breakfast ball. It's like, your first shot off the tee, if it's great, excellent. But if it's a shank, then take a breakfast ball, man. Have a mulligan.
Yeah.
Go again. Like and so when you're out there and you're thinking in the longer term, you're like, yeah, I'm just getting warmed up, or I'm learning what not to do, or there's something that's happening as you go about that longer vision. So I'm with you. I think don't let one hole stop you and cause you just to walk off the course and say, I give up.
Yeah. And you know where this shows up? This shows up in, we tried that before.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that shows up. It shows up. Oh yeah. I get this sometimes when churches ask me to come and kind of coach them over something. You'll hear some folks be like, yeah, we had one of those consultants come. We had one of you guys come and you gave us a beautiful laminated plan that we didn't do anything with. And
that's right. Yeah.
It's kind of a waste of our money and all of that. I'm like, okay. I mean, yes, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to have a coach come in and help you. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We tried that. We tried reaching young people. We tried doing a thing and it didn't work. That's where that shows up. That you tried one hole, it didn't work, and then you gave up. Yeah. When that, because how many churches they made that decision? I can't tell you how many churches I hear who are like, yeah, we should have gone all in with young people 10 years ago when we had the chance, and we made it. And there are like decision points where they said they didn't hire the youth director, they didn't do the thing, and now they regret it because now it's too late.
Right.
So don't be discouraged by just one hole. Keep going. All right. The next is, there's no replacement for just getting out there. There isn't. You can read all the revitalization books all day. You could join masterminds. You can go be in coaching cohorts. You can take doctor of ministry classes. You could do all the things, but there's nothing like actually trying to lead revitalization.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
whatever that thing is.
Take a risk. Yeah.
One of the big questions I get is about small groups, because we were a church that didn't have a small group culture. We had a women's circles culture and men's, you call them men's old men Bible study culture, where it's like 6 a.m. on a Thursday, you know, and it's like the same guys have been in the same studies and the same women's circles, and there was no room to do anything new. So we had to start from zero. And I think the challenge when we feel like you're starting with zero is like, well, how am I going to get to this vision in my head? Well, you're not going to get there all at once, but you got to get out there and try. You're not going to get out there and just launch this perfect small groups thing. I always say ours was an overnight success, a decade in the making.
Yeah.
It took us every bit of 10 years to get small groups to where it is now.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So we got out there and we started trying things, and we started figuring out what worked and what didn't. Our very first thing, dinners for 8, which many churches have done. We had our own version of dinners for 8, and it was just, how do we start getting people used to being in groups? And then we would give them an index card with like 2 questions they had to ask at the dinner. I don't know. We're just starting to do it, and people liked it. Then we tried it a couple more times. People started losing interest. So we're like, oh, let's try another thing. We tried Starting Point, which North Point does. It was kind of a similar thing. The first couple times we did it, had a good response. After that, not a good response. Okay, what do we do now? It was like fits and starts. And it just took a long time to get people used to it. But if we would have waited for like, this is the perfect idea and it's going to get us to this place, we just never would have got out there. So we just need to get out on the course and start playing.
Yeah, I agree. So I didn't play golf growing up. I started playing in my early 20s when I took a job. I was an intern in college ministry in Chattanooga, Tennessee. My boss, Dave Burke, said, we're going to be on the golf course some. And I was like, I've never played golf, but I was a baseball player. I'm like, how hard could it be? So I bought a set of clubs. They were Northwestern built. You remember that company? I don't know. Anyway, they're blade golf and like with a sweet spot, maybe the size of a dime or smaller. I mean, horrible clubs for maybe $40 or whatever. And I would say my first 30 to 40 shots just ran along the ground. But I had never even been to a driving range or anything. I just went out there and started hacking away. And eventually, though, I did hit one well, and it got up off the ground and it took off and it went a long way. And I was like, oh, that's what, but it took 30 or 40 skulls before I got anything like that. Sometimes you just got to get out there, start hacking away and see what sticks, and you'll start to figure some things out as you go.
And that leads us to the next point, and that is the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you get. When I first started leading change in churches, I wasn't very good at it. I maybe had some good instincts, but I didn't know really how to do it. I just kind of charged out ahead. Yeah, let's go get them, and had limited success, let's say.
Yeah, you had your Northwestern built golf clubs out there just hacking away.
Right. Well, because as you go, you get better at the calculating. And in golf, there's a lot of calculating going on. What club do I use? What's the distance? What does it say in the book versus how I actually hit it? What's the approach I'm going for? All of these things. It's a thinking kind of puzzle solving game.
Yeah.
And so is Church Renewal. It's a thinking puzzle solving game. You gotta be scrappy. We don't have tons of resources. We're always trying to figure out how we're going to get it done on half the budget we really need to do it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what? I'm just, as an aside, I think that's the way God likes it. I think it's because it makes us trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it also reminds us that if it's going to work, it's because God made it work.
That's right. That's right. Well, I think you're spot on, though. Repetitions over time add up to greater skill, too. So the more you do things and the more you lead change and work in a community to bring about revitalization or change, like the better you're going to get at. You're going to learn what not to do, what to do, how to, and then you're going to start to hit some better leadership shots as you go along. And it just comes with the territory. I think it was John Maxwell that said, you can't call yourself a leader until you've been a leader for 20 years or something. It's like this oxymoron of like experience is the best teacher. And yet some of us aren't out on the field yet. And so you got to get out there to just start going, and then you'll start to hit some better shots as a community or as a leader. So
Yeah.
I think I like that. Jason, and probably you've had that experience of that one good shot along the way, and you're like, oh, that's it.
That's the
But
only
you
thing
got to
that
be out
keeps me
there doing
playing,
it.
Jesse.
Yeah. What's that?
That's the only thing that keeps me playing is the one
Yeah.
good shot.
The one good shot. Yeah.
But again, my first church out of seminary, I discovered a lot about what not to do, what approaches not to take more than anything. And it was really invaluable. It was really important that I had to figure out it's got to be a healthy process, not just healthy ideas.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you have to work and include others.
Yeah. Buy-in is a huge part of it, right? How do you bring people along rather than just go, well, Jason's got the 5 best ideas for how we're going to do it, or Jesse's got these 3 things that are going to change our church. Well, how do we do it together? And one of the things I know you learned a lot in that first stretch out of seminary, one of the things I learned when I first had that kind of the senior leadership hat was how important it was to learn the story of the congregation, to know our history really well so that I could honor it even as we were moving forward. And so one of the things that I didn't do well at the beginning, I kind of was hard on where we had been rather than celebrating the good that God had done and now talking about where do we go from here. So we adapted over time, and now whenever we make a change, we talk in terms of vision and legacy. Let's build on this amazing story that God has written here, and how do we go forward into what's next? That's something that you learn by being out on the course and figuring it out, right?
That's really good. And I think what can happen is accidentally is if you don't do it that way, your relationship with the church becomes more adversarial than it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's unnecessarily adversarial. I mean, it just becomes, well, we're going to do this thing, and you guys kind of fumbled the ball, and that's why we are where we are, or whatever. Not that you would say that, but maybe you think it, and that's not going to get it done, which leads us to the 4th point. You'll be more successful if you play with others. I could go on the course and play by myself, but I was just signed up. This guy signed up a foursome for a charity event, a local youth ministry here. And they're like, hey, you want to play? I already bought the foursome. I'm like, perfect. That's great. So we went out, and it was a scramble, which means you play everybody's best ball. So whoever hits it best off the tee, you just choose which one you want to play, and all 4 players play it from that spot. And we did it each shot. So whoever had the best shot, we all played it from there. Man, did that make it easier.
Yeah, it did.
That made it, because we had some really good players on our team.
Yeah.
The guy that I was in the golf cart with, he was just hitting these beautiful, perfect shots onto the green. And I'm like, this is way better than the way I hit them.
That's right.
And I think we finished like a -4 or something like that. And I would never be that successful if not playing everyone's best ball. So what's the point of that in church renewal is that we need to play everyone's best ball. We need to make sure that we do it as a team, and that we actually give each other the space to take a swing. So it shouldn't just be the pastor or the leader taking all the swings. Like we're the ones always charging ahead and pushing all the initiatives forward. No. You need to share that with a team. Even if it's a small team, you just share that heavy lifting with a team, because you're going to do better.
Yeah. It's a team sport. Church revitalization is a team sport. Because if you don't take that approach, you might make a lot of progress, but there's not going to be a lot of buy-in potentially, right? And then either you'll burn out or things will fizzle out, and it'll be a false start. So, I think that's spot on. Best ball is one of it's tons of fun, right?
It's so fun. There's no pressure.
Yeah, and then if you happen to be the one that hits a good shot, there's sort of a little ego boost in there, but you're not. It's not all on you all the time, and especially when you're starting out, this is important because you get to actually experience what it's like to be hitting the ball from a good place on the fairway, or putting from a closer in shot on the green, and so you get to experience some of the success that hopefully will come in the long run, but that you're not quite there yet. And so it takes everybody together. It's good stuff.
All right. And last but not least, number 5, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. I mean, if you're out there playing golf,
say more about that, because my experience of golf, I'm starting to go,
if you're out there playing golf and you're just like, breaking your clubs over your knee, you might want to pick up something else. I don't know what you're doing. No reason to be that angry. I think, listen, when it comes to church renewal and figuring out how do we, and when I say renewal, it doesn't mean that your church is dead. It just means it needs some infusion of new life, or it needs to be taken to a healthier place. And everybody's got something. Yeah. Everyone's got a thing. Everyone's got an issue going on in their church with that. It can get healthier. And so on some level, that should be fun, because you feel like you're doing what God's called you to do, and you're getting folks working together. And I don't know. To me, if it's not fun on some level, it doesn't mean it's like rah, but if it's not fun on some level, enjoyable on some level, then maybe that's a flag.
Yeah.
Maybe something's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a great idea. Who knows?
Yeah. Something of the joy of it needs to be present.
There should be joy.
Like the possibility, the hope, the hopefulness of it, or something that is invigorating. And I think that's spot on. I remember, so I told you where I started with golf. And then I moved to San Antonio, Texas, and I had a lot of time on my hands, bought a nicer set of golf clubs and started playing 2 to 4 times a week on municipal courses. And I got good to the point where golf stopped being fun, because now it was like, if I had a bad couple holes, I was like, well, that round is, blown and whatever. And I kind of had to walk away from it for a little while to come back and then enjoy it again. And just being out there with the guys, hitting golf balls, doing whatever, being a part of that, and just enjoying golf for golf's sake, versus sort of like this weird standard. I was still only hitting 80. It wasn't like I was a really good golfer. So anyway, so keeping that joy in the forefront and paying attention, if it stops feeling that way, I think there's a question. What does that mean? And maybe there's another conversation we need to have, if that is the case, where some moving towards a renewal, revitalization no longer sounds invigorating or fun. Maybe there's something we need to do, some internal looking. I don't know.
Yeah. So listen, pastor, church leader, if you're out there and you're experiencing maybe some doubt or some anxiety about your renewal journey, just remember, you're playing the long game. You're not just playing one hole.
Yeah.
There's no replacement for getting out there. So, I mean, read Canoeing the Mountains and read the revitalization books, but don't get stuck there. Get out there and just do, because you're never going to feel like you're really ready. Yeah. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. Remember, you're going to be more successful if you do it as a team, and remember to have fun along the way.
I love it.
So I hope this is helpful, everyone. And, listen, our whole goal here is that we help you or inspire you to do the work God's called you to do. And he's called you to do it. There's a reason you're at the church you're at. God wants you to be you. And God wants you to use your skills and your gifts to move the ball towards the hole. And so, our prayer for you is that you'll be able to do that faithfully and fruitfully. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else? I don't know if it's kind of
it makes me want to go play some golf, Jason, is what it does. So
it's kind of a fun thing for me.
So I don't know if that was supposed to be the takeaway, or renewal and revitalization. But
and the county courses are great.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's get out there. Let's go to work and in the church and on the course, and we'll enjoy it as we do.
All right. Well, hey, everyone, thanks so much for listening. As we always say around here, ministry is hard. It is so much better when we do it together.